Welcome back to Set the Pipe. Today, we're going to be talking about the NCAA Division II Championship Tournament. Now, as you've noticed, your normal host, the man, the myth, the legend, my father, Sully, isn't here today, so he decided to send in me, Savannah, the oldest of four, who you'll also see later in this episode, taking on these brackets and hopefully explaining them just as good as he does. Now, in the top left bracket, we have Gannon versus Elizabeth City State starting off in that first round. Gannon, seeded first, sweeps Elizabeth City State in 3. Next, we have Charleston from West Virginia against Fairmont State, where they also swept them in 3. Moving on, we have Clarion versus West Liberty, with Clarion being ranked 2nd and West Liberty ranked 7th, where they again, can you guess, swept them in 3. And finally, without a surprise, there was another sweep, with this being Wheeling versus Indiana from Pennsylvania. Moving on to the second round, we have Gannon, who is ranked 1st, and Charleston, West Virginia, who is ranked 4th. This was a tough match that went to 5 sets, with Gannon coming on top in that 5th set, going 15-9. Next, we have Clarion, who is ranked 2nd, against Wheeling, who's 3rd. Clarion came on top in 4 sets. Moving on to the third round, you have Gannon versus Clarion, where Gannon comes on top in 4, and he'll be moving on to the quarterfinals. Now let's move to the top right side of this bracket. We have Tampa, who's ranked 1st, against number 8 seed Spring Hill. Tampa came on top in 4 sets. Moving down, you have Eckerd versus West Florida, who is 5th against the 4th seed, and the 5th seed came on top, winning 16-14 in that 5th set. Next, we have Lynn versus Florida Southern, with Lynn coming on top in 4 sets. And then another grueling match between Barry and Nova Southeastern, which went 5 sets, with Barry coming on top in that 5th, with going 15-9. Moving on to that second round, we have Tampa, the 1st seed against the 5th seed West Florida, with Tampa sweeping them in 3. Next, we have the 2nd seed, Lynn, against the 3rd seed Barry. Now, this was another tough match going to 5, with the 3rd seed Barry coming on top in that 5th set, 15-6. Moving to that third round, we have the number 1 seed Tampa against the number 3 seed Barry. This was a nice match, with Barry, the 3rd seed, coming on top in a sweep. They'll be going on to the quarterfinals.
Okay. A little technical difficulties there with Brady. I'll have him on another broadcast, but let's get to the left side bracket on the lower part, and we have the number 1 seed out of Nebraska, Wayne State, sweeping number 8 Harding. They move on. Number 4 seed Northwest Missouri State up against the number 5 seed St. Cloud State. St. Cloud with the upset in 4. They advance. The number 2 seed, always dangerous, Concordia St. Paul up against the number 7 team, strong Nebraska Kearney. They go 5. 15-10, Concordia St. Paul with the win. And the last match on that bottom left, number 3, Minnesota Duluth up against 6, Washburn. Minnesota Duluth in 4. They go on to the second round. Now we're still up the upper right-hand bracket. On the bottom now, we'll go to the number 1 seed, Wingate, up against number 8, USC Aiken. Wingate's the winner in 4. They advance. Now we go on to the number 4 seed in South Carolina. They go against the number 5th seed, Lander, with Lander coming on top in 4. The number 2 seed, Augusta, they go against the number 7, UNC Pembroke. The number 2, Augusta, comes on top in 4. Number 3, Carson Newman goes against the number 6 seed, Flagler. Flagler comes on top with a sweep in 3. Okay, now we go on to the second round, and we have Tampa versus West Florida. Tampa sweeps in 3. Number 2, Lynn in this bracket goes against a tough Barry. Barry goes up 2-0. Lynn storms back, wins it in 5, 15-6. They move on. The next second round action sits number 1, Wingate, going against the number 5 seed in that bracket, Lander. Wingate wins it in 4. The last matchup in that upper right bracket, the number 2 seed, Augusta, up against the number 6, Flagler. Flagler's up 2-0. Augusta comes back in the third, 28-26. They extend it till 5. Flagler wins 15-7 to move on. Now for the third round to see who gets to go to the quarterfinals. Tampa, number 1 in that upper right bracket, goes against the number 3 seed, Barry. Barry with the big upset, 3-0 and a sweep. They move on. The 1 seed on that upper right bracket on the lower part, Wingate, goes against number 6, Flagler. Wingate with the sweep. They move on to the quarterfinals.
Hi guys, I'm Tegan, and I would consider myself the perfect child. Today I'm going to be talking about the lower bracket top half on the left side. Starting off, number 1, American International swept number 8, Malloy, who will go on to play the winner of Adelphi versus Jefferson, where they went to 5. In the 5th set, they went 15-11 with Adelphi on top. Next, number 2, Damon versus number 7, St. Anselm, with St. Anselm coming on top with a sweep, who will be playing the winner of number 3, Bentley versus number 6, Southern New Hampshire, who went to 4 with Southern New Hampshire on top. Next, I will be going to the right side of the lower bracket top half. The first matchup was number 1, MSU Denver versus number 8, CSU Pueblo, with MSU taking a sweep over number 8. Next matchup was number 4, DBU versus number 5, Colorado Mesa, who went to 5, and in the 5th set went 15-11 with Colorado Mesa on top. Number 2, West Texas A&M versus number 7, UT Tyler, came out with a sweep with West Texas A&M on top. This next matchup went 5 with number 3, Regis versus number 6, Colorado School of Mines, going 5, with the 5th set being 15-12 with Colorado School of Mines on top. Now back to the left side with number 1, American International, going 5 with number 5, Adelphi, with Adelphi on top. Then number 7, St. Anselm versus number 6, Southern New Hampshire, goes 4 with Southern New Hampshire coming on top. Number 5, Adelphi, and number 6, Southern New Hampshire, go 5, with the 5th set being 21-19. Number 1, MSU Denver versus number 5, Colorado Mesa, is another matchup that goes 5, with the 5th set being 15-9, MSU Denver on top. Number 2, West Texas A&M versus number 6, Colorado School of Mines, also goes to 5, with the 5th set going 15-13, West Texas A&M. That leads us to number 1, MSU Denver versus number 2, West Texas A&M, with a sweep of West Texas A&M coming out on top. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed that.
Hey guys, I'm Kylie. I'm Soli's youngest daughter, and I'm going to be doing the very last brackets. So first up, we have Quincy against Northern Michigan, and Quincy comes out with a 3-0 lead. Next, we have Rockhurst versus Missouri St. Louis, and Missouri St. Louis comes out on top with a 3-0 win. Next was Lewis versus Hillsdale, and it was a very tight match. Hillsdale wins the 5th set with a 20-18 score. Last, in the first round on the left side of the bottom bracket, we have Ferris State versus Ashland. Ferris State coming out on top with 3-1 win. In the second round, we have Quincy versus Missouri St. Louis, and Missouri St. Louis wins in the 4th set. Also in the second round, we have Hillsdale versus Ferris State, and Ferris State also wins in the 4th set. In the third round, we have Missouri St. Louis versus Ferris State going to the 5th set, and Missouri St. Louis coming out on top
with the score of 15-11. Now for the right side of the bottom bracket first round. First, we have Alaska Anchorage versus Chaminade, and Chaminade comes out on top in the 5th set with the score of 15-12. Next, we have Cal Poly Pomona versus Cal St. San Bernardino. In the 5th set, Cal Poly Pomona comes out with the win. The score for the 5th set was 15-7. Next, we have both the Washington teams, Western Washington and Central Washington wins in the 4th set. Last in the first round on the right side, Cal State LA wins over Sonoma State in the 4th set. Now it's time for the second round on the right side, very bottom bracket. First, we have Chaminade versus Cal Poly Pomona, and Chaminade comes out on top, winning 3-0. Also in the second round, we have Central Washington versus Cal State LA, and Cal State LA wins with the 3-0. Now for the third round, we have Chaminade versus Cal State LA, and Cal State LA coming out with the win 3-0.
Now let's talk about these quarterfinals that are going to be happening on December 1st. The teams that have made it are now re-ranked from 1st through 8th. So let me talk about them. Ranking first is Concordia St. Paul. Following them will be Berry, West Texas A&M, Cal State Los Angeles, Gannon, Wingate, Missouri St. Louis, and Southern New Hampshire. Now let's talk about what order they're going to be going in. So at 2 p.m. on December 1st, we're going to see Texas A&M go against Wingate. Following them at 4:30, we're going to see Berry go against Missouri St. Louis. At 7 p.m., we're going to see Cal State Los Angeles go against Gannon. And finally, at 9:30, we're going to see Concordia St. Paul go against Southern New Hampshire. Thanks for tuning in on this episode of Set the Pipe. Hopefully next time, you'll see the man, the myth, the legend, Sully. See you next time.